What invention has done more harm than good? Lobotomy. Worst Nobel Prize winner ever. It's such a effed up thing that so many people at the time knew was effed up. I mean, it was essentially a way to make people with diseases easier to take care of by rendering them half dead. There was barely a pretense of it actually treating an illness. Monstrous. The 24-hour news cycle. Those plastic containers that are like crimp plastic stitch welded around the entire edge, and it's super thick plastic that will slice your open. Wrap rage, also called package rage, is the common name for heightened levels of anger and frustration resulting from the inability to open packaging, particularly some heat-sealed plastic blister packs and clamshells. In Germany, the vendors are responsible for taking back excess packaging. They have been doing this since the 1970s because they just don't have the space we used to have to bury their plastic waste. Note, we have run out of landfill space now. I worked for Abbott Labs in the 1980s and was sent to our Germany operation to transfer some manufacturing technology. Abbott makes a lot of medical parts and devices from plastics. Even after being used and now contaminated with human bodily fluids, Abbott has to take back every piece of plastic, boxing and wrapping it uses to ship their products and pay for its recycling. It has put the onus for creativity on the companies, and it works. Companies like Abbott, Merck, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, and Nestle have been fighting this kind of legislation in Hate USA because it will cut into their profits, but the truth is they know what to do to minimize waste and landfill pollution. It can be done. Cigarettes. Those things ruined my life. I don't smoke them anymore and have had to resort to other things. Peer pressure and wanting to fit in as an a-hole. Cigarettes are a-holes. I stopped smoking like 5 years ago and still think about them almost every day. It is unreal. Nearly 10 years now and I'd smoke 20 right here right now. The only thing that stops me is that revolting mouth, bad breath, poor breathing, manky skin, cost of a packet, and the fact that I'd have to go into the loft to find a lighter. Coffee pods. Even the creator deeply regrets his invention and the environmental impact it has had. Who was the creator? I always thought some a-hole at Nestle came up with it. John Sylvan. The US mostly uses K-Cups, produced by Keurig Green Mountain, which grew out of the company that was founded on Sylvan's invention in 1990. Pop-up ads. Think of all the malware and viruses that people have fallen victim to because of pop-up ads. Plus they are just annoying. Even the inventor of them apologized for creating them. Slot machines. Once you get a taste of winning some money back, it gets eaten up in no time. You might think you can beat the system, but that's how they suck you in and take you for all you are worth. These things are rigged to pay out when a lot of money has been fed into them, so you have to be extremely lucky to get the big jackpot. Not only that, but even when you're losing, the flashing lights and exciting sounds fill your brain with dopamine hits, making it feels like you're winning. Subconsciously you enjoy taking it with no lube. Data mining and ad delivery services disguised as social media. Rigged claw machines. Like seriously, I just want my Squidward plush. I remember a vacation when I was little of a teenager at one of the big claw machines. He was somehow able to beat it every time. A man and his fiancée was interested in one of the massive bears, and the kid offered to get it. About $3 in my currency, 1 coin. And he easily got them the bear in one go. After learning that claw machines are rigged, I wonder about that memory. I'ma go out on a limb and say the polygraph test. Do you hold a grudge against Montgomery Burns? No, but, alright, maybe I did, but I didn't shoot him. Ding. Checks out. Okay, so you're free to go. But, cause I got a hot date tonight. But, a date. But, dinner with friends. But, dinner alone. But, watching TV alone. But, alright, I'm going to sit at home and ogle the ladies in the Victoria's Secret catalog. But, Sears catalog. Ding. Now would you unhook this already, please? I don't deserve this kind of shabby treatment. But, high fructose corn syrup. If you look at the obesity epidemic worldwide, the invention of HFCS, and Reagan's farm bills which made massive over-farming of corn a thing in the US, all of these things begin at the same point. Cheap HFCS leads to it being used as an easy way to improve flavor, which leads to higher than average caloric content for the same food, which equals fatter humans. Social networking. If you give a monkey a typewriter, it'll still throw shit in your face. K-Cups. super unfriendly to the environment. Gotta get those reusable ones and buy coffee grounds. Cheaper and a good placebo to make you think you're helping. I actually use these. Just use a French press. Simple, easy, reusable, delicious. Individually packaged foods and snacks. I work at a grocery store and it's abhorrent to me how much crap there is and how well it sells. I mean, Christ. Yesterday I stocked Nutella to go packs that are Nutella with pretzel sticks. They're tiny and come in small plastic tubs. Or those large bags of Reese's cups that come individually wrapped. Or these ridiculous 1-ounce bags of freeze-dried fruit that we sell which are absurdly popular. Especially for how relatively expensive they are at $3 a bag. I get that plastic itself isn't bad. But this is egregious to me. Especially with how much my generation, I'm 34, has had overuse of landfills drilled into our skulls. It's not a good thing in America, but I was blown away with how bad it is in like Japan. They package, repackage, and triple package so many of their little snacks and things. It seems like every good over there makes twice as much plastic waste as anywhere else. Yeah, I've noticed that too. Japan seems to really focus on the aesthetics of their packaging, which leads to even more plastics. I stopped buying Japanese snacks in the US because I was so uncomfortable with how much plastic there is. I try to buy as much food as I can with as little plastic as possible. It really isn't always easy when you live in a rural area. Soft closed toilet seats. Either all toilets should have them or none should. The current roulette is too stressful. I was going to argue, as my house is decked out in them and forever will be. But your ending point is very valid. Dude, we got them in house. And at the place I work at. But I go anywhere else, I just drop them FAs and it makes the loudest sound and just screams AYYOOIAM tachination here, while also scaring the ever living F out of me, which isn't a good thing when I got a turtle head poking out. Half the time it's not even a gamble, I just forget that it's not normal. Reality TV, 90 Day Fiancé and its spin-offs are my guilty pleasure. So many people are saying plastic, which blows my mind. Do people really have no idea how extremely useful plastic is? Yeah, it's so much more nuanced than plastic bad. I remember reading a thing about how plastic utterly revolutionized many things for physically disabled people by making tools for them lighter, cheaper, and easier to produce, with 3D printing. This is especially true. We just need alternative sources for plastic, better recycling, and safer use of them that prevents shedding of microplastics. There is a happy medium to be found. The clapper. Scientists never thought through the true implications, because if a kinky night doesn't come with strobe lights, is it really kinky? Methamphetamine. At least it gave us Breaking Bad. There's been really interesting discourse relating to the cotton gin. Prior to the cotton gin, many farmers did not consider cotton to be a worthwhile crop to grow, as it was so tough to process due to the seeds in cotton that the amount of slaves it would take just to process a small amount by hand would cost more than the cotton they would produce. With the invention of the cotton gin, a few number of slaves could process essentially as much cotton as you could produce. This skyrocketed demand for slaves in the Americas. And while slavery obviously had existed for quite some time in America, the invention of the cotton gin doubled the amount of slaves in 10 years. And multiplied fivefold by 1850. This invention propelled the chattel slavery of the South to new heights. You could make the argument its invention profoundly compounded all racial issues in America since its inception. If it wasn't cotton, it would be something else, such as tobacco. Not to mention planting isn't the only thing slave labor can be used in. Mining is one possibility, especially considering the gold rush. The cotton gin can be pointed to as a cause of the reinvigoration of slavery, but it isn't the only possible thing that could have done so, and I'm not sure how something like it could have gone uninvented for long. Those low flow toilets that result in you wasting more water because you have to flush it multiple times to get it to take a log down. Best solution I've seen is a toilet with 2 buttons, one for a half flush, and one for a full flush. Windows 8. Why was Windows 7 afraid of Windows 8? Because everyone is afraid of Windows 8. Windows ME was the precursor of crap. That's the first version of who the F thought this was a good idea? Amazon. Lot of small retailers closed the doors permanently because of the greedy giant. Amazon also keeps a lot of small businesses, mine included, afloat. The same thing cannot be said about Walmart. I wrote a paper and presentation in college in Germany about how Walmart tried to enter the German market and lost $1 billion and was ran out of there. All of the things and market strategies that make Walmart so successful in the US is illegal in the EU lol. Single-use plastic has made healthcare the safest and cleanest it's ever been. Any kind of tobacco product. Green Lantern wasted 2 precious hours for millions of people. Even Ryan Reynolds regrets doing it. Targeted ads and internet trackers. These have done a lot of bad and practically no good. Fentanyl, the main cause of overdoses for those addicted and actively using cause of its potency. On the other side, fentanyl is a very effective and useful analgesic. It's particularly good for pediatrics. Thalidomide. I'll say generally it's a shame so many really useful things have such terrible consequences. Depends on your perspective. The cows probably think the McDonald's speedy system does more harm than good, but from our perspective it revolutionized the fast food industry. Cows' opinions don't matter. It's a moot point. The cotton gin. Yeah, it alleviated the work of slaves, but it catapulted the demand for slavery, and some historians note it as one of the causes of the American Civil War.